Hey guys, welcome to Zelda Dungeon. This is Zelda News Update. I'm your host, Bastion. This is going to be like an E3 wrap-up sort of video for me to sort of go over the various things that I probably should have covered while I was at E3, but it was so frantic and crazy I couldn't remember it all. Also, just to kind of vlog the process a little bit, show you some footage that didn't make it over to the channel for whatever various reasons. I had an amazing time at E3. Well, I should say I had an amazing time in E3, but a terrible time in LA. I tried to separate those two things in my brain. This video will just be about my experiences at E3. If you want to see my sort of vlog about my terrible experiences in LA and the not so great experiences at E3, there'll be a link for you. But at E3, while I was waiting in line to get into Nintendo's presentation, which, by the way, it turns out I wasn't able to get into, but that's another story for another video. I was waiting in line, and out of nowhere, this is day one of being at E3, out of nowhere, Eiji Aonuma steps out the door, and just for a quick second, he looks around, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Eiji Aonuma, I need to try to take a picture of him. I fumble with my phone, I'm too nervous to get my camera app to work. Missed that opportunity. He quickly went back in the door. Then the following day, or was it the same day? It's all a blur now. I'm waiting in the 3-hour line to play A Link Between Worlds, and we get almost all the way up to the head of halfway to the head of that line, and there's Nintendo's curtained off section where it's the VIP area of Nintendo, and out of nowhere, Miyamoto steps through those curtains, and these two guys right next to me, right ahead of me, are like, "Oh, Mr. Miyamoto, can we take a picture of you?" And he smiles. He's a very friendly guy, and he poses with them. They get a picture taken, and the whole time I'm like, "Oh, I want to get a picture with Miyamoto too." And he quickly dashed back behind the curtain. So. Another missed opportunity. However, while I was playing Wind Waker HD, battling the Helmrock King, trying to remember how to battle the Helmrock King because it's been a while for me, Iwata, the president of Nintendo, brushes past me so close that, I have to move because he's kind of bumped into me physically. And, so I'm like, oh my gosh, that was Iwata. Oh my gosh. Oh wait, I need to pay attention to defeat this big bird thing. But then I stopped paying attention, of course, to that and was watching what he was doing, and he was just going over to grab something at this booth, and then he was heading back to my way. And when I get nervous, I tend to do this a lot. It doesn't mean anything, it's just what my hands naturally want to do. But I think he mistook it as, when you bow to an elder or whatever. So I guess I was doing this probably because I was smiling at him, and as he's walking back, he's smiling at me, and then he goes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Iwata just bowed at me, this is crazy. But it gets a little bit better, well, not quite as exciting, but while I was waiting in line to get my picture taken on the King of Red Lions, which was this photo thing that they had set up that I'm sure you're aware of, Mr. Aonuma quickly walks right behind me and gets into the head of the line. I wasn't too upset, but he took cuts. But so he gets into the line, at the head of the line, and his translator is trailing behind him, so I go up to her and I say, is it at all possible if I just have a couple quick words with Mr. Aonuma? And, I'm with Zelda Dungeon, and I'd like to just ask him a couple quick questions. And she says, oh, no, he's actually in the middle of an interview right now for Nintendo UK. They just want him to go ahead and get his picture taken on the King of Red Lions. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I understand. But then I took out my camera, of course, and filmed him while he was doing the King of Red Lions thing, so that was pretty awesome. He seems like a really nice guy. Next year, I'm going to make sure that we get an interview with him. Another thing about the Wind Waker that, control-wise, that I wasn't expecting at all, is that when you do things like use the telescope to look, or probably even when you're using the bow, although I didn't have a bow, so I'm just guessing here at this point, but you do not use the control sticks to aim the telescope like I kept expecting to need to do. Instead, you use the gamepad itself to maneuver around, and its gyro sensors detect what you're doing. So you might see in a video that we might upload where I clearly don't know what the heck I'm doing because I cannot get the telescope to aim, and I only eventually figure out that's because you gotta use the actual gamepad to look around and aim with. So now you know, and you won't be making those same embarrassing mistakes that I was. So that's it for this video. Again, I had an amazing time at E3, and not such an amazing time in LA in general. That is quite a story. If you want to hear some of that, you'll have to check out my vlog video over on my own channel by clicking here. Until next time, see you guys, bye.